Hello everyone! I'm really happy to see you again in today's video. On her journey of discovering and restoring old vehicles, our talented girl continues to surprise us once again. This time, she managed to find a vehicle that most people would probably walk away from at first glance. The car is almost nothing more than a frame and an engine. The tires are missing, many parts are no longer intact, and some components have been severely damaged over time. In the eyes of most people, this is nothing more than a worthless pile of scrap metal, something that no longer has any practical use. But for her, things are completely different. She sees potential where others see trash. To her, this vehicle isn't garbage, but an opportunity, a product that could bring significant value after being restored. What's even more interesting is that if this vehicle is fully restored to its original condition, it could turn into a real bargain. She doesn't just repair vehicles, she brings them back to life. Cars that seem to have reached the end of their lifespan are transformed into reliable and durable machines once again. So, can you guess how much she spent to buy this vehicle? The answer might surprise you. She only paid about 5 million Vietnamese dong for it. If converted into US dollars, that's roughly around 200 USD, an incredibly low price for a vehicle in any market. But the real story lies in what comes next. After completing the restoration and repair process, the value of the vehicle could rise to around 2,000 USD. That means from an initial investment of just 200 USD, she can create value that is 10 times higher. This is truly an impressive level of profit. That's exactly why she constantly searches for old, heavily damaged, or even abandoned vehicles. What others don't want often becomes a gold mine for her. Now, let's put ourselves in the position of someone who needs a vehicle for work. For example, if your job requires transporting agricultural products, goods, or running a small business, what would you choose? Would you spend around 2,000 USDs on a used but fully restored vehicle, or would you be willing to pay tens of thousands of dollars for a brand new one? The answer depends on each person's financial situation. But in reality, many people would choose the more affordable option, buying a used vehicle at a reasonable price, as long as it runs well and is reliable. And that is exactly the market she is serving. In a developing country like Vietnam, the number of cars is still limited compared to the actual demand. Meanwhile, the need for vehicles for work, business, and daily life continues to grow. However, not everyone can afford to buy a brand new car. That's why the vehicles she restores become such a perfect choice. Affordable prices, stable quality, and the ability to meet practical needs, these are the reasons why her vehicles are so popular. Not only are her vehicles affordable, but what truly stands out is her craftsmanship. Her ability to repair and restore cars is genuinely impressive. After being brought back to life by her, these vehicles don't just run smoothly, they are also incredibly durable, almost comparable to brand new ones. Because of that, customers trust her and are always willing to choose her products. There are even times when she completely sells out. She simply doesn't have enough vehicles to meet the high demand. When it comes to pricing, it's hard to argue. Even though she sells her vehicles at much lower prices than new ones, the profit she earns is still very significant. Let's do a simple calculation. She spends about 200 USD to buy a vehicle, and after restoring it, she can sell it for around 2,000 USD. Even after subtracting repair costs and labor, the profit margin remains very high. This is not only a smart business model, but also an extremely effective one. However, achieving these results requires a tremendous amount of effort, time, and patience. Restoring a vehicle is not an easy task. It demands technical knowledge, hands-on skills, and careful attention to even the smallest details. Each vehicle presents a different challenge. Some are heavily damaged, missing multiple parts, and require her to search for replacement components and fix everything step by step with great precision. But with passion and determination, she overcomes all of these difficulties to create truly remarkable results. Not everyone can do this kind of work. It requires not only skill, but also persistence and a unique mindset. The ability to see value where others see none. And that's exactly what sets her apart in the market. While many people chase after new things, she chooses a different path, finding old, forgotten items and transforming them into valuable products. Looking at what she has achieved, it's clear that she truly deserves the admiration and support from everyone. This is not just a story about business. It's a story about effort, passion, and relentless determination. Her success doesn't come from luck, but from consistent hard work over time. So, if you find this story interesting, and if you admire her talent and dedication, don't hesitate to give her a like. And the biggest challenge she faces right now is finding a way to restart the engine and bring the vehicle back to life. After being left unused for a long time, the mechanical system barely responds, making it extremely difficult to start. However, she refuses to give up. As a first step, she decides to install a new starter motor for the vehicle. This is considered a crucial move, carrying the hope that the engine will turn over again, marking the beginning of the car's revival. It seems that installing just a new starter motor is not enough, as the vehicle still refuses to start. Realizing the issue is more complex, she begins inspecting the entire electrical system, carefully checking each connection to see if anything is loose, damaged, or disconnected. For a vehicle that has been left unused for a long time, the electrical system often deteriorates significantly, directly affecting its ability to run. However, it's not just the electrical system that matters. The ignition system also plays a crucial role. After sitting idle for so long, the spark plugs may no longer function properly or fail to produce a spark at all. Therefore, the necessary solution at this point is to replace the spark plugs with a new set, ensuring the engine can ignite and increasing the chances of a successful start. The vehicle still refuses to run, even after she replaced the starter and checked both the electrical and ignition systems. This suggests the issue isn't limited to a single component, but may involve multiple systems within the engine. Without losing determination, she moves on to inspect another critical part, the fuel supply system. For any internal combustion engine, fuel is the lifeblood. If fuel is not delivered properly, the engine simply cannot start, no matter how well the electrical or ignition systems are working. Understanding this, she carefully begins examining the entire fuel system. First, she checks the fuel lines, the components responsible for carrying fuel from the tank to the engine. After sitting unused for a long time, these lines can crack, become clogged, or deteriorate significantly. Upon closer inspection, she notices that the condition of the fuel lines is no longer reliable, showing clear signs of aging that could disrupt the fuel flow. Without hesitation, she decides to replace them with a new set to ensure a steady and consistent fuel supply. After completing this step, she continues analyzing possible causes. With her experience in restoring long-abandoned vehicles, she knows that the fuel system involves more than just the lines. One of the most important components she cannot overlook is the carburetor and the fuel needle. The carburetor plays a crucial role in mixing fuel with air in the correct ratio before it enters the combustion chamber. Meanwhile, the fuel needle controls how much fuel is delivered. If either of these parts is dirty, clogged, or malfunctioning, the combustion process will not work effectively or may not happen at all. For a vehicle that has been sitting idle for so long, it is almost certain that the carburetor has accumulated dirt and deposits. Old fuel residues can clog the tiny passages inside, while the fuel needle may become stuck or lose its precision. Recognizing this, she decides to thoroughly clean the entire system. This task requires a high level of care and attention, as even a small mistake could affect the engine's performance. She begins by carefully disassembling the carburetor piece by piece. Each small component is placed neatly aside to avoid any loss. Then, she uses a specialized cleaning solution to spray and remove all the built-up dirt and residue. The tiny passages and internal channels are cleaned meticulously to ensure smooth fuel flow. Beyond cleaning, she also inspects each component closely. If any part shows signs of wear or damage, she is ready to replace it to ensure optimal performance. The fuel needle is also checked for sensitivity and accuracy, making sure it can properly regulate fuel delivery when the engine runs. Once everything is cleaned and inspected, she carefully reassembles the entire system. Every component is returned to its correct position, ensuring that nothing is installed incorrectly. At this point, she has addressed nearly all the key factors that affect the vehicle's ability to start: the electrical system, the ignition system, and now the fuel supply system. Each step has been carried out with precision and professionalism. However, one big question still remains. Will the vehicle finally come back to life after all these efforts? If, after completing all these steps, the engine still refuses to start, then this truly becomes a very difficult case. It could mean that the problem lies deeper within the engine, possibly involving severe mechanical damage or internal components that have deteriorated beyond simple repair. But with her experience and persistence, she is not someone who gives up easily. Challenges like this are not just obstacles, they are opportunities for her to prove her skills and determination. The journey to bring this vehicle back to life is far from over, and there are still many challenges ahead. Will she succeed in restoring it to its former condition? Or will this become one of the toughest restoration cases she has ever faced? Let's stay tuned and see what happens next in this challenging yet fascinating journey. Even after trying almost every possible method, the vehicle still refuses to come back to life. This suggests that the issue may go beyond common faults. There could be a critical component inside the engine that is no longer repairable. In cases like this, fixing the problem on site becomes extremely difficult, especially without the necessary replacement parts. At the moment, she doesn't have the required components available to continue the repair. After careful consideration, she decides to tow the vehicle back to her workshop. There, she has access to proper tools and a better working environment to thoroughly inspect, disassemble, and replace any damaged parts more effectively. It's also possible that the parts needed for this vehicle are not readily available. She may need extra time to search for or order the right components. Bringing the vehicle back to the workshop allows her to prepare properly and handle the restoration process more efficiently once the parts arrive. It must be said that restoring old vehicles like this is far from simple. It requires not only technical skills and knowledge, but also a great deal of patience and determination. Every vehicle comes with its own story and unique problems, and not all of them can be solved immediately. However, it's exactly these challenges that make the work so fascinating. Each obstacle is an opportunity to learn, to push limits, and to prove one's abilities. And based on everything she has shown so far, it's clear that she is not someone who gives up easily. Honestly, I feel both excited and curious to see whether she will successfully fix this vehicle. This could turn out to be one of the toughest restoration cases she has ever faced. And that's what makes it even more interesting. What about you? Do you think she will manage to bring this vehicle back to life? Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and see you in the next video.